I spent most of my childhood overwhelmed due to physical and sexual abuse I endured when I was 5, 6 years old. And I basically spent my teen years trying to escape everything. And then in my 20s, I started meeting teachers. And actually, I met a teacher in my 20s or my teens, but she scared me. In my 20s, I pursued teachers and gurus and basically went to everybody I could find to try to learn something, to try to figure out how I fit into the world, because I felt just so disconnected. And I finally met a body language teacher. And he was able to take my sense of being disconnected and my sense of being sort of not belonging and like not as much as everybody else, like I just felt like I didn't belong here. He took that and completely turned it inside out in a single session. And I remember walking out of my session with him and suddenly feeling like I belonged in the world. And what I had let go of didn't even matter to me. It hadn't made it, just what happened in the session didn't matter. What mattered to me is that I suddenly felt connected and I felt whole and I felt like I belonged. And so I committed my life to figuring out what he had done, how he had done it, and how I could, further it for myself, until eventually he took me aside and said that I should be teaching it myself. So I started teaching and started working on people really in about 1997, 98. What Patrick showed me is that there's a direct correlation between our internal body language, the voice that tells us nonsense, and our external body language, what we project to the world. So, and what he was able to teach me and what I was able to learn from him is how to identify what's happening inside somebody's mind based on their external body language cues. So what's really neat about this work is that those things that we hide, that we tend to hide in ourselves, the reason we hide them is that we think nobody else has them. We think that we're the only ones, and that we're the only ones that don't get it, or that nobody else will understand us, nobody else will be able to help us resolve it. But when someone is able to identify what it is we're holding on to, and you suddenly realize that it's not personal, it's not only you that's got it, it's a huge relief. Like my session with Patrick, I suddenly realized that everybody feels disconnected. Everybody feels like they don't belong. Everybody feels like they're not enough. Everybody feels like they're not wanted. Like that's part of being alive. But it's not an inherent part of being alive. It's not really what you're here for. That's really a bit of a mask. The mechanism makes us feel like we don't belong or that we're disconnected. It's based on a lie. It's based on a lie. And it's because it's based on a lie that it's easy to reverse. It's easy to unmask. So the phrase that the truth always sets us free is exactly how YBNL works. Once you find out the truth of your deep connection to source, to your creator, and to all life and to everybody else, once you see the truth of that, the lies about you being disconnected and about you being not enough and about you being not wanted and all the other little lies we have about ourselves, they just go away. They go away because they're lies. Like, nobody wants to deal with lies. If someone tells you there's poop on your shoe and you look and you see that there isn't any poop on your shoe, you're not going to clean your shoe, right? Because there's nothing there. Like, if it's a lie, you just don't care. That is what happens in body language table training or wing releases, is that I read body language cues to figure out what the glitch is internally that someone has going on that they think they can't let go of. And so I basically show people how to let go of it. It's truly that simple. And I make it sound simple, but it took me 30 years to figure out. The thing I figured out for how and why table training works, I teach in the Playshop. If you take the Playshop, you'll understand what that internal mechanism is that creates the internal body language that we don't like. And then you can work on it simply by meditating. Every time the feeling comes up that you're not wanted or you don't belong, or every time the feeling comes up that you get triggered over something or whatever, you do the meditation that I teach in the Playshop, the feeling dissipates, and you're teaching your body the truth of your inseparable connection from Creator and your inseparable ability to love unconditionally, basically. And for me, like I can tell you, I don't care what happens in the world. Whoops. I got attacked a few months ago. I mean, I had somebody in my face telling me they were going to beat me up, and they threw me into a wall, and I got hurt, and I'm actually still injured. The kind of stuff that 20 years ago would have driven me mad. And I've been able to just sort of shrug my shoulders and let it fall away, and not let, you know, the fact that this guy wanted to beat me up, it didn't impact me, didn't make me sad, didn't make me feel like, oh, well, he didn't want me. Why do people want to beat me up? Like this kind of like the internal chatterbox nonsense that happens anytime an upset occurs. That just doesn't happen anymore. Anyway, the purpose of the Playshop is to understand how and why our bodies create that internal body language that we don't like. And when you understand how and why our bodies do that, and you remind yourself of the truth every time one of those false thoughts comes up, eventually your body just drops all of the nonsense. It drops the falsities. And those false things, I don't know, they just don't bother you anymore. They just don't bother me, which, I mean, that's the joy of life. Any questions? Yeah. So what happens with the Playshop is it peels off layers, and as the layers peel off, you start peeling off bigger layers, and then what will happen is that you literally can feel like you go through a transformation, and it can feel like a bonfire, but it's not an all-consuming fire. It's kind of like a wall. When you get through the other side, it's over. And that the feeling of like that you're burning all your lies usually only lasts about 5 minutes. Whoops. I think it only lasts about 5 minutes for most people. It's very short. Well, there is a lot online. The Playshop is online. I mean, my entire school is online, and you know, if you can navigate it, I very much encourage people to take classes online whenever they can, because the classes online, you teach yourself and you do the exercises yourself, and there's nobody cracking a whip behind you. So when you do the work yourself and you do it at your own pace and your own speed, when you get the result of truly freeing yourself from, you know, the nonsense in your history that bothers you today, when you're free of that, you pat yourself on the shoulder for freeing yourself of it. You don't have to blame me or credit me with, you know, suddenly feeling amazing. You credit yourself for doing the work. The thing that drove me the most nuts about teaching this stuff when I started 25 years ago is the people putting me on a pedestal thinking that I was amazing because I could do amazing and crazy things. And that actually sabotages the work. If you think that I'm amazing or can do things that you can't do, or that I have some special skills that were handed down from above or whatever else, you're separating me out from yourself. And none of those things are true. Everything I know, I learned through study, everything. And I got some things from teachers, but I studied with those teachers. You know, I was not smacked in the forehead and given amazing insights. I had to earn them. And the path I took to earn those, I've put online. And if you follow the path, you can have those things too. Yeah, so there's no secrets at my school. I'm totally willing to teach you everything, absolutely everything I know. Being on a pedestal is a bit of a separation. And the one thing I dislike is feeling separate. I like to feel connected, and, you know, like let's all be on the same even playing field. So I've put everything I know online, and I've put it in a way that you can teach yourself. And if you do that and you'd like confirmation, you're welcome to, you know, come to the live class and figure it out, or get your confirmation. But truly the joy of having the class online is that you don't need me. And I know from my own studies, because I spent 30 years trying to figure this out. And in those 30 years, you know, the 50 or so teachers that I met and spent time with, probably 45 or 46 of them, you know, kind of took my power away, because they want, you know, like I ended up thinking that they were on a pedestal, or that they were way more amazing than me. And I ended up feeling like I could never do what they do. And oh, please, if I could just get a little bit of what they have, then I'd feel better. but that was like a carrot on a stick that we could never really grab. The few teachers I found that were really down to earth, who really taught me well, were not on pedestals, and actually were very down to earth and very grounded and really unwilling to be put on a pedestal. So anyway, I do my best. I do my best for that. Any questions about anything at all? The problem with any kind of learning like this is that our ego tries to prevent change. So anytime you go to do something new, you know, one of ego's ways of preventing change is it'll get us to forget a detail. So it can be helpful to have the online resource. You can remember all the steps to the Cascade meditation. You can remember about breathing in the correct rhythm and being in gratitude. And there's a few other things to keep in mind, but making sure you've got all those pieces can really make sure that that Cascade works quickly. When you do the meditation, it only takes a few weeks to start really peeling off deep layers. And to give you an idea of how powerful the meditation can be, you can literally be walking down the street and suddenly notice a store you've never seen before. Like literally, you just start noticing more information, because the energies that our bodies hold on to, the energy it takes for your body to hold on to old upsets, all that energy is the same energy that you use to notice things in the world right here, right now. And so when your body's no longer holding on to old upsets, when you're not carrying around stuff that makes you mad from your childhood, suddenly you've got a lot more attention for right here, right now, and you just start noticing more information. And that's one of the ways you get confirmation that the Playshop is working, is that you just notice more information, or it's easier to get along with people, make new friends. Or like I said, suddenly notice a story you never saw before in town. Anybody had that experience?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. Good.
Lasting break.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Bye.
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 Ciao, ciao.